Oh, it's pretty blurry. Good afternoon, everybody. We're here today to talk about the continuous webinar series that we're hosting, and we're talking about the coronavirus pandemic, and it's getting more serious day by day. This is the enemy that we cannot see. There's an increased loss of life spreading around the world. And we're slowly realizing, I think, in general, that we must do things different. This virus will change our lives forever, without doubt. That being said, dwelling on the catastrophic potential of the virus alone will not help us. What we need to do is think as positive as we can in these unprecedented times, even though it's extremely difficult. Education, knowledge transfer, learnings, they're all our line of defense. And what we do with this information is entirely up to us. So I really think a lot of it is in our hands as to how we can make things better. That's exactly why we host these webinars, for that reason, to assist you with cleaner, safer spaces. We're learning as well. Some of the things that our team is meeting on a regular basis is how can we produce the products for you faster? How can we shorten the learning curve for you to protect yourselves? How do we improve health and safety all at the same time? How do we improve sustainability? What innovative products and processes can we develop to assist you moving forward with a better result? On the other side of this, we continuously say it, we will be better and stronger and a more educated world and company on the other side of this. And we are extremely proud at Charlotte Products of what we do and to be able to do this. So with that being said, let's get started our program today. Obviously, April 3rd, Asquith Williams, our COO and in charge of the production facility, he's on the production floor right now. He's going to join us shortly when we get to the question and answers. And okay, I'm not going to even introduce myself anymore because I think for those that are following it, you've seen it. But this is how pandemics spread. This comes back from 1918, and if you look at the dates below, this is how fast it spread when the population was not near we certainly didn't have the population count back then that we do now. Look at this in basically a 3-week period, how it started in one spot of the United States and spread across. That's with not even probably a tenth of the population. So when you look at the screens on the internet and you see all of those red dots, I mean, it's just exploding. And I mean, it's done it since 1918 with the Spanish flu. Oh, my screen's not flicking. Oh, okay. We've talked about this before, the global risk, why the travel bans are in place. Sorry, it's flicked back on me. Okay, why the travel bans are in place, and this is a shot. It's automatically going ahead. Yeah. Okay, sorry, it's got a little technical difficulty here, where it's fast tracking my screen. Okay, we're just working on that right now. As a matter of fact, okay. Okay, excellent. We've got it. I believe we have it. I can only see me.
Yes, it's you until I fix the file.
Oh, it's me. Okay, sorry. I'll just refer to my notes here quickly because the screen has actually gone down. But if you're, I look at the map there, and at any single time out of a day over the United States of America only, there's over 5,000 planes in the air. And there's thousands and thousands of people on those planes, and what we do know is that's how easy that this virus can be transferred. A global update for you today. I mean, I've talked about unprecedented times without question. There is even higher level of anxiety this week without question. There's less patients, and there's a lot of new community inconveniences that we think are convenient inconvenient, but really, when you truly think about it, they're not that bad compared to the alternative, and that is loss of life. The government continues to enforce and learn and educate us there. There is that pressure of social distancing, which is a unique thing for us all to get used to. And our world in general really appears to be focused on advertising stats, and stats are important. I mean, the number of risks and loss of life and cures, people that have cured and things like that. But in all honesty, stats are historic. They are really history. I see a lot of things focused on mainly PPE, ventilators, gloves, masks, hand sanitizer, and things. And we truly believe there's a lack of focus on the preventative measures and the information available to really explain the proper cleaning protocol, how to clean properly, how to disinfect, how to sanitize, right? And what we need to really do is take a proactive and a preventative approach to disinfect every single touch point, period. That's really one of the best ways that we can prevent ourselves. This is a droplet-based virus, and we understand that anything, you should really have a focus on anything that's a horizontal surface. Things like carpet, things like floors, all of those particular things, and desks, tables, and things. That's your best protection. As always, heed the advice of the Center for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, your departments of public health, and things like that. So that's where we're at. As far as the proper cleaning and disinfecting processes, we've had this brochure. I think I'm up and running here now. I think. Okay, right here. Good, excellent. We've had this brochure for quite some time, as a matter of fact, and it's really about an infection prevention program. It's been out for at least a year. There's a Canadian version and a US version, and it's all about saving lives and reducing sick time and lowering absenteeism and things. And really, it's full of the plan for every single facility, what you need to do. Right from a checklist to planning your cleaning routes and identifying areas of focus. And it's really talking about breaking the chain of infection. So we encourage you to get that down, go to charlotteproducts.com and download that. And we can go from there, okay? Because it's a lot of good information. My screen just goes faster again. Okay, so saving lives. We live in a fast-paced and mobile society. Who is really responsible for the risk of the spread of infection? You know what? It's every single one of us, and thinking anything else is incorrect. And you really need to stop and think about this. Did you know that every single custodian and janitor and caretaker are a major transporter of germs? And so are all the occupants of the facility. We touch almost everything in a facility, including ourselves. So it's critical that we wash our hands often. And I love this slide. I've used this slide for many, many, many years. And it really comes down to, this is a typical hand. And this is what can be on your hand at any single time. You've got influenza, you've got E. coli, salmonella, a chemical residue, you've got fungi, viruses, bacteria, and my favorite, the nasal mucus. I mean, all of these things are on your hand, and you touch things, including yourself, all day long. And that's how easy this virus actually spreads. So our point here, wash your hands, use more soap. Get a good lather going, do it longer and more often. I mean, it's really quite simple, as a matter of fact. This is a little sign that I probably talked about 20 years ago. And I mean, hopefully we don't have to resort to this, but I mean, if there was a great big buzzer and flashing lights and whatever that announced that you didn't wash your hands when you came out of the washroom, something tells me you may change. I can't give you a better tip today than to actually do that. Household cleaners and recipes. There's a lot of associated risks. And some of the questions we get every single week are, can I use salt? Can I use borax? Can I use ammonia? Can I use vinegar? Can I use peroxide and bleach and thyme and oranges and lemons and all of those things? And there's a multitude of recipes all over the website here. And some of these are fine, by the way, and you need to be aware of the hazards, though. The risks associated associated. Alone, they may be fine, but when you cross the pH line, that's alkalinity and acids, and you cross that, there's a serious chemical reaction and health issue. I wouldn't believe that this time in a global pandemic, this would be the time to be experimenting. What you really need to do is select proven, safer, registered cleaning products with drug identification numbers, the EPA numbers that are all surrounding disinfecting and sanitizing, all of those properties regulated by our global harmonized system with the necessary first aid treatment if something happens. And if I just look at it, I mean, if you take bleach and vinegar, which seem to be very common in a household, well, if you mix the two of those, you've got a very dangerous chlorine gas. And if that'll burn, that'll harm you, that'll end up in a healthcare facility. Hydrogen peroxide and vinegar, peracetic acid. If you've been in a room with that, you will only do that one time. That is a very serious health issue. Bleach, rubbing alcohol, all of those types of things. We're going to talk a little bit more about the pH scale next week, as a matter of fact, is where we are. My screen isn't working too good. Okay. We've got it. Okay. So let's talk about... Oh, my screen's empty. What is cleaning? Okay. It is really removing unwanted substances safely from the environment. The cleaning away the visual dirt that people can see, cleaning away the contaminants, the microbial contaminants. And I like this actual description because it really puts a little bit more emphasis on what we do. Cleaning is actually the process of locating, identifying, containing, removing, and properly disposing of unwanted visible and invisible substances. In other words, dirt and infectious agents, impurities, and things like that can adversely affect our health. Cleaning terminology, I'll talk about that a little bit. Cleaning, I've just said there. Where to clean? You know, is really every facility type, and that's your first line of defense and your first step in any cleaning process. More frequently, obviously. Sanitizing, usually generated within food service industries. That lowers the number of germs on a surface or objects to a safe level as judged by the Department of Public Health standards and requirements. And that process works by either cleaning or disinfecting surfaces, depending on the facility, to lower the risk of spreading an infection. And where to do that? You know, obviously surfaces with food. That's at home. That's in the workplace. That's at the local, food prep sandwich shop, things like that. Disinfecting, that describes the process that eliminates many or all of the pathogenic microorganisms except bacterial spores in some cases. In healthcare settings, objects usually are disinfected by liquid chemicals or wet pasteurization. There are some various factors involved that affect the efficacy of the disinfectant and that nullify the limit to go from there. Sterilization is usually in operating rooms. That can be steam under pressure, dry heat, hydrogen peroxide gas and things like that. And you really want to do that. So that's really the difference between cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting, and sterilization. How do you improve your cleaning results? The 3 T's of cleaning. Time. The longer the dwell time, the longer the product has to work. This is not the world of TV where somebody sprays a product on and the stain is gone in 1 second. I mean, time will actually allow you to get a better end result and not work as hard doing it. Temperature, using the recommended temperature that's on the label. If it says to use hot, use hot. If it says to use cold, use cold. Turbulence as well is the 3rd T. Better agitation leads to cleaning efficiency. If you think about your washer at home, if you just put the detergent in and your clothes in and added a little bit of water and just maybe stirred it with your hand, the clothes would come out cleaner. But when you've got the turbulator bucket, I guess it is, or the device there that twists and turns the clothes, obviously that's representing turbulence. Floor reservoirs, we talked about last week. That's where all the microorganisms are. It's the largest reservoir. I'm coming back to this simply because I'm going to talk about carpet. You know, coronavirus spreads from droplets. Gravity assists that. It's usually around on all of your floors, but we often don't think about carpeting or area rugs or entrance matting. And these are all reservoirs that can transfer bacteria and viruses through your facility. Carpeting carpeting has been used in commercial and residential settings for years and years and years, and it's used for many reasons. I mean, it makes it a little more comfortable. It's quieter. It's warmer as a general rule, and things like that. But I mean, there's carpets in food service areas, lunchrooms, boardrooms. You know, food is always consumed and spilled, and there's potential contamination issues there, and nobody generally has a good carpet extraction program in place. As a matter of fact, they may do carpets on average once a year. It's difficult to know what lies beneath that fiber. What I can tell you, there's lots of live organisms, dust, pollen, you know, all of those things, bodily fluids, food stuffings, and we are on the floor, and we roll around the floor, we sleep on the floor, we play on the floor, we watch TV on the floor and things, and it's easily goes through a facility. You know, so how do you know it's clean carpet? You don't, unless you see visual stained areas or some worn fibers in high traffic areas and things, or ripped or torn. And it's really an out of sight, out of mind type program, but we're really focusing on that to help you. So we're just going to do a short, just over 2-minute video here for you on a shot that video we did just the other day that'll help you with, do I disinfect or sanitize or do my carpets on a regular basis? Hi there, Jim Fleeler, Charlotte Products. We're right in the middle of an outbreak with the coronavirus right now. We're hosting our weekly webinars, and we get all kinds of questions asking us about how safe is my carpet, what should I do, can I disinfect it, can I sanitize it? So I'm going to answer all 3 questions here today. First of all, regular extraction, hot water extraction, fast extraction is quite honestly a very thorough clean. As long as you're using a good quality product, whether it's a surfactant based or encapsulating, it's good, and Envirosolutions has a whole selection for you, and our specialists can help you decide. The other thing, when it comes to disinfecting, you know, should you disinfect the carpet? If you're a medical facility, if you have high traffic, high risk, high contact points, we'd probably recommend that. So the process there is really extract like you normally would, then simply take a neutral disinfectant. Envirosolutions has ES64, ES64H, ES364, several of those. Again, you can ask for the expertise. Put that, replace that in your machine, use it as your extraction fluid, put it down, make sure it's moist enough to stay wet as long as the label says, usually 5 to 10 minutes, and you're good. If you have high sensitivities in your building or at home, whatever it may be, you may want to just do a final water rinse and back pick up there to lower any kind of issues with respiratory or skin irritancy and things like that, because that can bother some people, but believe me, it's perfectly safe. When it comes to sanitizing carpets, if you're a food area, you've got children around, toys around, preschool, a lunchroom, break room, we'd recommend that. And you got to remember, coronavirus is a droplet. It actually falls down, carpeted, fibers are absorbent, and you know everything that hides in the carpet. When you clean your carpets and take it to the sink and you empty it, you know how bad it is. That could be bacteria, viruses, food stuff, bodily fluids, you know, all of those kinds of things. So sanitizing is simply the same. Extract first, then basically you would take, we have a ready-to-use sanitizer, serve clean in 2 different sizes, and it's ready to use. So you would simply put it in your machine, put it down with the wand as a spray, or you can take a pump-up sprayer and simply spray enough on the surface to stay there 60 seconds and walk away, you're done. The last one I'll talk about quickly is if you want to extract and then disinfect, but only with your extraction fluid, we have our new ES15. That's our outbreak prevention disinfectant. I've done my extraction, it's still moist. I'm going to spray down enough that it stays wet 5 minutes, and I'm going to walk away. Hopefully that answers your questions. Thank you. Okay, so we're back. That was a video we just shot this year, if you can show me the screen, and we'll continue for there. So sorry for the IT issues today, the problems, and but we'll just get started right up here in a second, and I should be able to. Oh, okay. Can I flick? Okay, I can flick. So what you've seen there is really, should I extract my carpets? Absolutely yes. You've got a thorough clean there without question. The only thing we would recommend is obviously doing that on a more frequent basis than what you've currently done. Everybody knows how dirty the water is and what can be in the water when you go to the sink after to drain it. If you do that 2 or 3 times a year in a building, if you do it 4 or 5 times a year in your household, people are going to breathe better in the whole works. A couple of products that you can use to really do an amazing job is we have our ES87, which is a good surfactant based extraction cleaner, and also for bonneting. It also has Eco-Logo certification. And then we have our ES93 Plus, which is an encapsulating cleaner, which basically it actually absorbs moisture easier, contains it, turns it into a bit of a powder there that vacuums away, and it really lowers the moisture level and the risk of foul odor. So any one of those products are great to use without question. When it comes to sanitizing, we've been talking about our ServClean brand, our sanitizer that's ready to use. Comes in a 946 ml bottle and also a 3.78 or a US gallon. And that is critical to use, particularly around the house if you have areas of carpet where food is digested and children play and things like that. So that's a real good way of reducing microbial contamination. When it also comes to the disinfecting, the neutral disinfectants I mentioned in the video were really ES64 neutral, ES364, which is neutral, which has a 5-minute dwell time, and ES65H. They're all in Canada. In the United States, we have ES64H and ES364 as well. All good products to use, and guarantee you there that you've killed all the stated pathogens in the carpet if you follow the directions. We talked last week about the drain CL powder to use in urinals, to use in sinks, in tubs, in showers and things. And one thing we discovered just last week, again, just trying to learn, is that in toilet bowls where you have hard water and the ring around the top, if you look at the left picture there, you'll see the ring there. We just basically take a half a cap, we pour it in there, it produces this nice aggressive cleaning foam, and you flush it away after about 10 minutes or so. You've sanitized your bowls, you've cleaned it, and most importantly, what you've done is you haven't been reaching into the toilet bowl where there are splash areas and a risk of cross-contamination. So that's something that we just discovered last week, trying to get better. Product supply awareness. We want to talk to you really, we continuously talk about could be shortages of the smaller containers. That is the trigger heads and also the bottles. We've come out with refillable gallons. We've come out with pails. We've come out with drums as well. And we know we're going to have a shortage. A lot of these things come from out of the country, and the sources there to get it are just they're a little more limited than what they used to be. That being said, what we are going to do is we're going to do a packaging change announcement here on our cases of ES15-6, and that's your trigger bottle up in the top left-hand corner. And in order to avoid a shortage, in order to keep our valued customers with the product that's an outbreak prevention disinfectant, we're going to change the packaging. Right now, there's 6 bottles in a case, all with a trigger sprayer on them. That takes a little extra time to actually to produce on the line. What we've decided to do is we're going to put a foil induction seal on it. We're going to put a regular threaded cap, and we're going to put 3 trigger sprayers in each one of the case. What that will do for you is, number 1, we'll be able to turn inventory around faster. 2, it will make sure we don't run out of triggers faster than what we're predicting. And it's also a more sustainable directive, as a matter of fact, there. So we're going to go into that effective immediately. So just so you know, that's what we're doing. That'll help us help you and keep you in proper inventories. That will also allow us to give you more inventory and things. So some additional resources here for us. Really, we want you to go on these websites. We want you to go on the Charlotte website. That booklet is there that we talked about, and the more education you can get, the better that it is, without question. Okay, so now I think I've talked about the ES15. That's been a tremendous seller for us there. We've changed the packaging, as I just talked about there. That's going across the. I mean, that's just something that's required today. As far as the seminar goes here today, it's next Thursday. There's a time change because of Easter weekend. That's obviously altering our lives there for sure because of social distancing. It's going to be on Thursday, April 9th at 1 o'clock EST time, and that'll be the same time frame, 30 to 40 minutes or so. We encourage you to join us there, and together we're going to learn more and more and more as each passing day goes by. So we're available to assist you, and generally now Asquith comes in the room there, but I know he's actually on the production floor now, and he may be in any second, but we'll sort of start to answer some questions now that we've got. Our IT director has been writing them down and passing them to me as we go along there. So I guess the first one here is from Anne, and it says, is it true that household products such as bleach and vinegar and ammonia can seriously cause harm? Well, yes, it can. I covered it here today. They produce tremendous gases, off gases, and dangerous gases that quite honestly, this is not the time to experiment with them. As I said, use registered products, use the SDS sheets, take those healthcare precautions without doubt. Okay, another question here. This one is George. Can you explain how carpet encapsulation works? And I'll refer to ES93 plus. There, an encapsulation is really it's an outer shell that comes in contact with the debris and the moisture that it sort of encapsulates it, and then it dries it and turns it into a powder. What that does is it holds it from stopping down in the carpet fiber, and it allows you to vacuum it up, and it actually stays in a dry state. So each time you vacuum, it'll continue to be picked up with the vacuum, but it'll continue to draw moisture out of the carpet. Really, getting rid of those foul odors that are usually associated with extraction there. So I think I just got. Oh, there's Asquith.
Hey,
Asquith Williams. Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hot off the presses, buddy.
Excellent. How many we've got today?
Oh, a couple of 100,000.
Okay, so there you go. Asquith was busy where he's actually plays a critical role for us, producing more product. That was Enviro Solutions ES15. Where he's saying there's quite a bit more there. Thank you very much, Asquith. So that means it'll come to you faster there, and we'll go from there. So Asquith, you're in perfect timing, and thanks for taking the time out of your day, because we know the vital role you play on the floor there in the production facility. So I've had a question here. I like the sounds of drain CL. This one here is from Walter. Is it true that it's a sanitizer in Canada? And where can I use it? Where can I really use it?
You can use it in your regular drains, anywhere, any sink. The toilet bowl is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's sodium hypochlorite.
Yeah.
And so it's an excellent sanitizer.
Okay. And it is registered as a sanitizer in Canada?
No, it's not registered as a sanitizer.
Okay.
But it has basically all the sanitizing capabilities.
Okay, good to know. Okay, but it's the right thing to use.
It's the right thing to use.
Yeah, that's important without question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now I noticed this week. I talked earlier when I started about the improvements that we're making at Charlotte, and how we're trying to, be faster, be more productive, to get products out to really help our people with clean, safe spaces. I hear some rumblings about a new DI water system. Can you explain that to us a little bit?
Oh well,
This doesn't give any secrets away, trade secrets.
We don't get secrets
okay.
away.
I just want to make sure.
We don't get secrets away, Trey.
Okay. Yeah.
Ideally, when you manufacture drug products, you want to keep the efficacy of that product and the longevity of that product vital. They're vital to the formulations. And as a result of that, we need absolutely to have perfect water. If you've got water that has high calcium, then the surfactants in this formulation would react, and so you're going to battle half empty. And so we try to get the best water possible. Now, the problem that we were having is that the demand was so high for all our disinfectants, especially at this time, that ideally we weren't keeping up. So we triple our output now of deionized water. And as a result of that, we're good to go.
That's good. So
we should have this all installed, hopefully by the end of the day.
Well, that's good. What are you doing in here? You should be out there installing it with the wrenches.
I just thought I'd come and help you with some questions.
We appreciate that for sure. So the DI water, is it fair to say then it's a pure water, and you should get more efficacy out of our disinfectants? Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. Efficacy and longevity. That we demand, we demand shelf life.
Yeah.
And so and the product has to work well.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what.
Well, that's excellent. Is there many people that do that, or is there?
Well, a lot of guys out there, they just take the water from the tap.
Yeah. Well, the water from the tap is.
You got hardness probably 120, 130 ppm depends where you are.
Yeah. You're really using up some of your disinfectant properties if you're mixing in hard water.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Well, that's good. And it's really going to double or triple our productivity. Is that what you're thinking?
It's going to triple our output of deionized water into our tanks, and that as a result would make us, instead of taking 2 hours to make a batch, we probably shorten that by maybe 20, 30, 40%.
So instead of you coming in next week with 1 bottle, you'll come in with 2 or 3.
Hey.
Okay. Excellent.
They're gonna sell it.
Excellent. Well, that's good. I mean, and that's just one thing that we're trying to do. We've turned that around. I mean, we've had the deionized water system, I believe, for 25 years or so. It's been suffice, except for when you've got a pandemic like this, the high demand. Well, that's great. Congratulations for moving that fast. We really appreciate it here. One other question that was handed to me here is, we've been fielding a lot of calls over the past month regarding lists of disinfectants posted by the EPA and Health Canada. Can you address the audience with your thoughts around those lists?
Oh boy,
I know it's a big thing, and we only have 5 minutes or so.
Okay, good. I'll be quick. Ideally, the SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID-19. The issue that we have is that no one has any objective evidence to support the fact that they can kill or inactivate this particular virus. So, based on Health Canada's issues and to some degree the EPA as well, what they're doing is saying, okay, if you kill these types of viruses, by extension, you'll be able to kill this one.
Okay.
And on the scientific proof, scientific evidence. So that's what's happening. So if you can kill A, you're more than likely to be able to kill B. That's the scenario.
Yeah, you can't possibly expect. I mean, if a new virus is just developed a month ago, you can't expect any manufacturer in the world to have a registered kill claim on it. But I guess if it's associated in the same family, then that's as good as we can get right now, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. The good news, I think, over it is because I hear, I hear all kinds of comments from customers and things, and I see a lot of different disinfectants manufactured in the US and Canada and whatever. I think the best thing here is we've got to educate people. We really have to. I mean, what do they use? How do they use it? What are the precautions and things like that? And I think overall the world's going to be a better place when we come out of it, without question.
Absolutely.
I mean, cleaning protocol, we take for granted so much. We just really don't clean very well. I mean, some go really fanatic, like but then some of us just don't. So I think if the general public, all of us, whether we're at home or whether in the commercial life, our business life, if we just stop and clean a little bit, we're going to be better, right?
Just got to clean.
Yeah, change your vac bags in your uprights. Change your central vac system bags and filtration and stuff. Clean the brush out on your vacuums. I mean, vacuum your mattress. I mean, all of these things where these are anywhere where there's touch points and things. Next week we're going to talk actually about food safety.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about, washing the dishes and things like that is what we were going to talk, and then when to use the sanitizer and whatever. So that'll be good to help a lot of people, and we can maybe touch on some commercial settings too. So I think there's a couple more questions, and I'm looking at the time. We probably got about 4 more minutes here maximum. We're getting lots of thanks from people, and we appreciate the comments here about, here's one here from Brian that says, big thank you to everyone in production and shipping. You folks are saving lives and keep doing what you're doing there. And they ask what that goes to you and your people there and your team. I've got one here from Jeffrey. Is the ES15 available for the U.S. customers now to ship? And what's the production schedule for that?
Well, possibly in the next 2 weeks. Absolutely. We're waiting for 1 or 2 more little ingredients to add, and we're ready to go. We got the labels, we got everything ready, and we should be shipping very, very soon.
You're on camera, right?
Absolutely.
People are listening.
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted
You got my word on that.
Okay, that's good there. And I think we have one more question here that we'll go to that Chris passed me around the front here. Can we expect more availability of your Enviro Solutions ES15 disinfectant in the coming weeks?
Absolutely.
I guess you've almost answered that.
Absolutely. We got the tank full right now.
Yeah, the tank is full. Geez, well, maybe I'll get a bottle.
Come and help us package.
Yeah, I'll absolutely do that, because we are 6 days. We're still 6 days a week,
Absolutely.
20 hours a day.
We'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Well, if I'm, I'll certainly come in and help without question. So I'm looking at the time here. We never want to go over time for sure. We appreciate everybody that listens in on a regular basis. We're going to continue to do this. We had a few bugs with IT this week, but we'll get over that and do it better again next time. We appreciate everybody here. We want you to be safe and be precautious. Practice your social distancing. Wash your hands. Disinfect those touch points. And really just stay safe. So until next week, thank you very much. We'll have a safe weekend. And remember, it's Thursday next week at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time because of the long weekend for Easter. So anyway, thank you.